Hey there, I'm Luann Stropley and I'm the founder of Inspirational Leading Academy. I'm also a collaborative author in the Amazon #1 bestseller, The Energy of Expansion, and I help people take the stop out of their start. Today is Q&A day. Earlier this week, I posted this photo on Facebook and it said this: how have we forgotten that we were created to be fascinating and joy-filled and in awe of the very creation called me? Now, this is a question I've pondered quite a bit over the years. And as it turns out, I'm not the only one. Someone in our community posed this question: why do you think we forgot that? We start off knowing that as little girls, but lose sight of that as we get older. It is sad. And I agree. It is very sad, but I would also say it's very common. So as I reflected on this person's question, I was drawn back to my own life experience. And this is what happened in my life that I believe contributed to my loss of memory. When I was a little girl, I was very supported in the music things I was doing, in the sports that I did. My parents were always there. We had great family friends. But while I was supported as a little girl, I watched my mom be not adored and not loved in the way she should be. In fact, there was a certain level of relational and verbal abuse that happened over the years. As I grew older and started to support her more and develop boundaries with her, then I started to receive that lack of love and support as well. Other things happened in life too. We all go through this whole puberty thing. We all get bombarded by the media images. We all go through heartbreaks in our life. The person we thought we were going to marry ends up with someone else or just walking the other way. We all also, at some point, go through the loss of a loved one. And there's no break in our hearts more deep and life-changing than the loss of someone we love. Now, I remember when I lost my mom, her death was sudden and quite possibly suspicious. And I remember plummeting into a deep, dark place where I struggled even to wonder why I was alive. A few months after she was gone, I was written out of the family will. And it's very interesting, right? The lack of love and support that she received when I was little then came on to me as I became a woman. And all of these things eroded that beautiful fascination I had with myself when I was a little girl. But you see, when all of those really tough things happened and I found myself in the pit, there was a part of me that was always a fighter. There was a part of me that refused to give up. There was a part of me that said, I'm looking back at generations of women in my family who have been abused and unloved, and one of us has to take a stand and make a change. And that was me. So as I started to make a change, I started to use those affirmations that I talked about last week. Now, if you missed last week's video, I encourage you to go back and catch it. Those affirmations saved my life. I started to do the affirmations. I started to dream again. I started to explore my gifts and figure out how I could use them to help people. I actually eventually ended what was a 14-year stint in the nonprofit world of making $10,000 to $15,000 a year. Honestly, just another form of abuse that I allowed in my life. And I found my strength. And you know what happened? It turns out that those deep, hurtful, painful things in my life, the worst things that ever happened to me, ended up being the best things that happened to me. Because they gave me my fire. And they gave me the gumption I needed and the fight I needed to get back to seeing myself as I truly am. And I got back to seeing myself as magnificently created. Seeing myself who was intelligent and strong, someone who could create the life she wanted, someone who could actually be an entrepreneur, someone who was beautiful and sexy and attractive. See, all those things I couldn't feel when I was in my pit. But with a concerted effort, and it did not happen by accident, by the way, it didn't happen automatically. It was a concerted effort to take me from being in the pit and almost actually hating myself to being someone who realizes the truth that each one of us is magnificent and awesome and beautiful and strong and powerful. And that was the shift. Oscar Wilde says this: to love oneself is to begin a lifelong romance. To love oneself is to begin a lifelong romance. And I would add this: it's the best romance of your entire life. It's the most intimate. It's the one you can count on. It's the one of which you have the most control. And the cool thing is, when you truly love yourself, then you're able to love other people more magnificently and with more freedom and with more joy. And that kind of love creates a really fun chemistry. So how about if we make a little pact? How about if we make a pact to rekindle the most important romance we have in our lives, the one with ourselves? I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. I would love to hear your story, where your victories are, where your struggles are, and where you are presently in your journey to love yourself. Please leave a comment and tell us about it. Inspire others. Inspire me. Let's get our conversation going. Now, this week, as you return to rekindling that fire of love, always remember, be inspired, be inspirational, and be a leader. You are changing someone's life simply by being you.